What are we doing here?
I have to make an intriguing intro for my Q&A.
I'm finally doing it. Here is my 25K Q&A special. I genuinely think I've put this off for like a month, which is crazy because it's not like I've had anything to do between when I said I was gonna do it and when I'm doing it. You guys had a lot of questions for me and I totally appreciate it and I'm super excited. So some questions that nobody's really been asking or that have just kind of been assumed about me, I'm going to answer now. Hi, my name is Grace. I'm 18 years old. I just graduated from high school. I was doing a dual enrollment college program where I've been taking college level classes for my junior and senior year of high school. I got my certificate of completion from that. And before any of my younger viewers start thinking that me sharing my age on the internet is just me deciding to succumb to the questions, that is not why I'm sharing my age on the internet. It is because I'm 18, which means I'm a legal adult, and this is a conversation I had with my family before I decided to share that. I'm still very adamant that if you are under 18, it is no one's business how old you are or where you live, and still, I'm not sharing where I live. I'm gonna stand on that business. Another question I've been getting a lot, mostly from people who I know in real life that have access to my channel, is what's up with my channel name? How do you pronounce it? What does it mean? What are we doing? What's going on? I've heard gracit7, gracit7, goop gop. Like, you put all your questions to rest finally, it is pronounced gracity. It's kind of like a play on the word gravity and the 7 replaces the Y. Why it's a 7, literally no significance to anything. I was just trying to be different. I have a sister who sometimes appears in my videos. One of you asked what her channel name is. She lost her other channel that she was posting like IRL videos in, but she does have a channel that's kind of dedicated to like a Battle for Dream Island, like object show type stuff, which I will put here. So definitely subscribe to her. I know that plenty of the OGs already are. I also have a cousin named Noah who's starting out on YouTube. He also lost his channel, so be sure to subscribe to his new one. The first question I'm going to be answering is from my sister. Where do you get inspo for your videos and how do you have the motivation to make them? My content creation journey, first starting it, was kind of inspired by my cousin, Cube Rhythms. I was watching him, you know, before I could do long division. The concept of sharing your art with the world like that really intrigued me. Even though we have totally different art styles, you know, he kind of did animation, I do acting. Performing arts is obviously the center of my content. As for motivation, have you seen my posting schedule recently? I really try my hardest to post like every day because I find that that brings in the most audience. That's what I like to see when I am subscribed to a channel, that I can regularly count on their content. So I really like putting out the image that I am committed and that I am motivated, even though sometimes I'm really not. Right now it's because there's a lot of moving pieces in my life and I just genuinely don't have time. I've been sick since graduation because I've not had time to just sit down and relax. Even now I'm wearing apparel from the children's camp I'm counseling at. As far as inspiration for my videos, a lot of it comes from the musicals that I enjoy. I'll look up acting challenges, but I will say sometimes finding inspiration for a video is literally just either mindfully scrolling and trying to find something that I can like latch onto or take something from, or it will just come by me when I least expect it and then I'm like, hey, I want to do that. For dance trends, that's like the number 1 way it gets into my mind, is just I see it and I'm like, that's freaking cool. I fear the day that my classmates discover my channel. What do you do if they bring it up to you? While my friends are my biggest supporters, also Rocket is notorious for just playing my videos in the middle of class and it makes my blood boil. I've been so blessed to have friends that do support, at least outwardly, what I post online. When they bring it up to me, I kind of just laugh it off or I try to redirect the conversation because as much as I am proud of what I post, I don't really like talking about it in real life. I can't really think of a creator that I know in real life that would be super open to talking about their channel in front of their friends or other people. I don't know what about it is just embarrassing to me. Also, funnily enough, my mom will watch my videos when I'm around so like we can react to it together and I'm fine with that. But the second my dad walks in the room, I'm like, why that is, still don't know. Now, if there was someone in my life who like made fun of me for my videos, that would be another story. Because how are you so miserable that the only thing you have to do is pick on me for expressing myself on the internet? Like, let's get a life and grow up. Question that's kind of related to the whole like content creation journey thing. So I have a super small channel and I take a lot of inspiration from you. Aww. I was wondering if you could give me some advice on how to grow my channel. Thank you, love your content. Love you. Hello. I might not be the best person to give advice as far as growing your channel. I think a lot of my growth had to do with just pure luck. I think I posted my first video. Actually, I know exactly when I posted my first video. It was April 7th, 2025. So that was a little over a year ago. I now have 26,000 subscribers. Totally crazy. Did not expect the trajectory of my channel to go like that. I think a big reason that I blew up so fast is because I didn't do a lot of the trendy stuff. I obviously participated in some trends, but I really had to like a trend to hop on it. But people, I think, don't really get when they're starting a channel is that, yes, people like the trendy stuff, but then what is it that you're offering that the next creator doesn't? I really pride myself in trying to create fun, interesting content that's unique to me. And I know it's so cliche to say, but I did get this advice from Drew, that cool guy Drew. But finding your niche is really important. My main advice is, once again, as cheesy as it sounds, find your niche, be yourself. If you're passionate about the content you're posting, then just know that it's going to pay off later. Don't give up on what you want the world to see. Any questions that I ever get about, can I duet? Can I take inspiration from this? Can I tag you? Do it. Don't even ask me, just do it. There was a time when I was super niche that there were a bunch of people tagging me and stuff, and that was literally the prime of my life. I love having parasocial relationships with people on the internet. Like, not in that way, but I mean, that's kind of the whole goal of being a creator in my niche, is kind of connecting with other people. So I love doing collabs. I love getting emails. I love people duetting me. Do it. I never have a problem with it. There was also a question about, like, are you going to share your singing in videos? No. I have on some occasions. Mostly it was Has Been Hotel songs. And I have thought of posting more of my singing, but my mom doesn't like it when I sing. No, I'm just kidding. Posting sing on the internet is probably the most vulnerable thing. I've worked on my voice a lot over the past 4 years being in theater, but I still don't think I'm at the place where I can comfortably sing a cover and put it on YouTube. As loving as my followers are, I'm just not at that place right now. So unless I'm super confident in a song, I'm probably not gonna post it. And the songs I'm super confident in are just like not that interesting. But also, I don't have a mic or any like recording equipment besides my iPhone 13. I think it's a 13. So even if I was like, I can sing the Defying Gravity riff at an E6, like, my phone would probably explode. There's not one specific comment that has this question, but stuff like, what's your favorite musical? What's your favorite musical you've been in? What's your least favorite musical you've been in? What's the least favorite musical you've seen? There was also a comment that was talking about, like, when did you get into musical theater? I feel like I'm too old to start. No. So a quick theater background on me. I won't necessarily recommend the path I took because I was doing high school theater and this community theater at the same time. So I would literally go from performances in a musical straight into tech week for a play, straight into auditions for a musical. Like, it was crazy. I totally burnt out, but it did make for some great stories and memories. I've been in approximately 14 stage productions over the past 4 years. I was also the costume director at my school for 2 plays. I assisted in 1 musical. Most of the shows I've been in are musicals, and that's kind of what I'm interested in continuing doing throughout my theater career and major. I major in theater, by the way, if that wasn't obvious by like everything I do. There was one asking about my favorite musicals and like it not relating to the role I got. So a show I really enjoyed despite being ensemble was Anastasia. I played a Romanov sister in that, which is like more featured ensemble. Me and the rest of the Romanov family, we just became like so connected. And a big part of any theater experience is the rehearsal process. So while there were parts of the rehearsal process I wasn't a fan of, the community I was able to build in that show really elevated the experience for me, and I did really enjoy doing that show despite not having a lot of time on stage. 2 other shows I really enjoyed that can be partially attributed to the role I had were Annie and Midsummer. Annie, I was one of 2 Miss Hannigans, and Miss Hannigan is a very isolating track. What a lot of people don't understand about leads sometimes, especially if they're very specific tracks that like don't interact with the ensemble a lot, is doing those shows can suck if you're not in the right environment. If it weren't for my double, I would have been utterly alone all the time because I do have scenes with the orphans, but you know, my biggest things are Little Girls and Easy Streets with 2 other people. Little Girls, I'm on the stage by myself. So even though being the villain, I didn't have half as much stage time as like, you know, Mr. Warbucks. But I really loved doing Annie also because it was my first really big role at that company, and I met one of my best friends. A Midsummer Night's Dream was a very specific rehearsal and show process that was centered around the growth of young actors. I felt I really got so much out of doing that show. While when I looked at the cast list, I was totally surprised to see I got Oberon, because the person I remember reading for the most was like Titania or Helena or Hermia, and I kind of was going out for Helena. I'm so glad I got Oberon. It pushed me in a lot of different ways because I've played guys before, but none of them were like really that serious. Oberon was a different level. Like, my director told me to watch how men moved and like study them. Other shows I really enjoyed were Matilda. Being Mrs. Phelps in that show also was a pretty isolating track. I was put in several ensemble numbers as well, but a reason I love that show so much is because it was so well done. The performance was praised by pretty much everyone who came. The cast was perfect, just like those types of shows that you would go back to and tour. Like, Matilda was one of those. I will say there aren't a lot of shows I did with this company that I didn't like. Probably the only one would be Wizard of Oz. I really can't give a specific reason why I didn't like it. The rehearsal process was fine. I mean, I was ensemble, but I was like one of the lesser ensembles. Like, I didn't have any really fun dances. I really didn't like my costumes. I didn't like my green room. I didn't like my role, so it's stuck up as it sounds. Like, I was one of 3 people called back for the Wicked Witch, and then they double cast it, and I was the only one who didn't get it. So I was a little bitter brat about that. Most of the shows I would say like I wouldn't want to go back to, or I kind of would just like rather forget, or some of the high school plays I was in, just because they were kind of insane. The Play That Goes Wrong I really enjoyed, but the rehearsal process was terrible. We got yelled at all the time. It was just like, I don't want to be here. As for favorite musicals in general, ones I've seen, ones I've listened to, The Great Gatsby is my favorite musical right now. I've not seen it, but I've listened to the songs over and over again. I'm just in love with that soundtrack. I really like Epic the Musical. I definitely had a phase where I was, you know, cosplaying all those characters and listening to that nonstop. Another concept album that I really appreciate and I recommend to most people I know is In Pieces. They're just starting to do like a staged production of that, which I'm so hyped for. Favorite musical I've seen, I'd probably need to pull out all my playbills and like make a ranking, which that could be a separate video. I really liked Beetlejuice. I really liked Hadestown. The Hades we saw. I also really loved Frozen, Peter Pan. I will say maybe the least favorite musical I saw was Aladdin. And don't get me wrong, like the staging, the costumes, the effects, choreography was immaculate. I couldn't take my eyes off when the magic carpet was up. I really didn't like the acting, but it's because it was a very specific type of style that wasn't catered to me. So does that make me narcissistic? Maybe. Another musical I didn't like that I don't know if I can just attribute to my mom not liking it was 1775. It's also a super niche musical. If I remember correctly, because I saw this like 2 or 3 years ago, I think it mostly takes place around the day that the Declaration of Independence is being signed. Interestingly, about the production I saw, the company that did it only cast women, non-binary, and trans actors. So it was really cool to see like all the founding fathers played by literally anyone but a man. So that's not the reason I didn't like it. That's probably actually the only redeeming thing about the show for me. I just found the songs and the plot really uninteresting. What's your favorite type of song to use in an audition? This is something I have to grow out of, but I am a sucker for contemporary. So if we break, you know, the history of Broadway up into 3 main parts, it's like golden age, pop rock, contemporary. I'm just more comfortable with contemporary songs, so stuff that's happened since 2000. And there are some great songs there too, but there's great songs everywhere. I would say if you're a newbie and you feel uncomfortable about trying to learn something like a new genre you're not used to, I would always recommend Disney because they have great songs in every genre, like ballad, up-tempo, all that type of stuff. Like, Disney probably has something for you, whatever you're doing. But if you are advanced and you want to look at songs that maybe other people aren't doing, a big thing that I would look at is search up the song that you want to use, or kind of like the vibe you want to use, and just look at songs that have a similar vibe that you may have not even heard of before. Or look at musicals that a lot of people are auditioning out of and choose a song that people aren't using as much. So like, instead of using Dead Mom from Beetlejuice, use Home. So niche. Who's inspired you most throughout your musical theater career? Ooh, because that's a good question. A lot of people that have inspired me have low-key been my age. Like, people I've done theater with that I just see have a drive and passion for musical theater. I'm like, okay, girl, I'm trying to hop on that train too. Samantha Pauly, Eva Noblezada, you know, the young women powerhouses of Broadway right now. So original. Also, pretty much every woman that I saw on the Aragon tour of 6 back in 2023. Specifically, Gabriella Carrillo. I will say that as much as I want to be an actor, any way I can break into the musical theater scene is what I want to do. Whether that's costuming, working on makeup, wigs, hair. I just want to be part of that world. Part of your world. Now into questions about the things you see in this room. Where are your posters from? Where are your pants from? Where are your clothes from? Where are your earrings from? Where are your makeup from? Where's your hair from? Posters and almost anything you see on my wall is probably from Amazon. Girl, the boycott! Listen, another thing about me is I'm cheap. I say cheap. I was extremely spoiled growing up, so I do have a lot of things. I got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I got who's its and what's its galore. A lot of my clothes come from TJ Maxx, Ross, or once again, Amazon. A lot of clothes I wear all the time that are either like more expensive or look better were probably gifts. There's this one tank top I was wearing a few weeks ago, like constantly, like every single day. It was from Aerie. I got it for my birthday. I feel like I've never stepped foot inside American Eagle. This skirt, for example, these earrings got on clearance, which were great deals, mind you. I am a sucker for a clearance deal. I wanted to make a video about the stuff I got that was selling for super cheap. I like the idea of getting things without having to pay full price. Who doesn't love that? You will rarely find me dropping more than 20 bucks on a fit. I feel like I covered a lot of ground with these questions, so if you have any more, definitely put them below and I'll put them in like a reading and reacting in my comments type of thing. But thanks so much for joining for my 25K Q&A special. Appreciate you guys so much for helping me get to this point. We have turned a corner with 26K. We're almost at 27K. If you liked this video, please subscribe, and if you didn't, why did you watch until this point? Love you all. See you in the next video.